The Amish installed what I am convinced is the most energy efficient form of heating in the barn you see behind me. I would have never known that this was an option for my barn or for a barndominium if I had never visited their farms last winter. It was actually February of this year. I walked into one of their barns and homes over in Canajoharie, New York, and I was instantly hit with this almost moist heat. No, it is not so moist that it warps your wood or causes molding problems. It's just a much more pleasant heat than that really dry, blown, forced air that comes out of the vents that's in most of our apartments and buildings today. How the in-floor radiant heat works is below the concrete surface you see behind me is a coil that fills with hot steaming water when I turn it on, which I'm going to show you guys in this video. And sometimes it takes about 2 to 3 hours for it to fully power up, to fill with the hot water, and then the hot water essentially heats the floor. And the heat, like the name suggests, radiates up from the ground through your body to the ceiling. I jokingly call it the spa or the bathhouse when I pull into this property each morning. When you can see the steam coming off the side of the barn, there's something very cool and solar punk about it. It also reminds me of the bathhouse from Spirited Away. So when I'm sitting here working, or if I'm watering the plants, doing something with seeds, the heat is coming up through my feet. So it's a much more efficient form of heating. It keeps me a lot warmer, and it just seriously impresses me every single day. For everybody asking, what does this radiant heat cost? Should I consider it? My radiant heat is powered by propane. They buried my propane tank outside. That's one way they're able to get around having electric in their homes. Some of the Amish is they will hook up propane to their heating system. So no, they are not all sitting around candlelight. Some of them are in the pitch dark at night. They are also in modern times with us as well. Somebody is going to ask, well, what does that cost you? What does that run you? I can't quite say yet. I can say I have a 1,000 gallon propane tank. It costs around $1,300 to have that filled this past spring. So far, when I checked the gauge on it, having the heat on for the last few weeks has not even moved the gauge a single inch. If I estimate that $1,300 is going to cover my heat or water heating the shower in here for a full year, that comes to around $108 per month, which I find very fair. In a structure this big, it is 2,600 square feet. The 1,000 gallons of propane might last me even longer than a year. I will definitely be coming on here to update you guys on any changes in costs. In the interim, I do break down very, very detailed all of the costs related to the structure you see behind me on my Substack, which I will link to below. It is now time for the in-floor radiant heat tour. If I get down low right now to the floor and put my hand on it, it is warm. This floor is warm. It's not super warm. As you can see, there's no condensation problem happening on the windows or anything like that, but the floor is warm. Here's how it all works. So if I come over here, I just have a normal thermostat like in any house. I switched it to heat, and then I set it at the temperature that I want. It does take a few hours for the system to power up. That's one of the drawbacks of it. I don't find it to be a drawback because honestly, if I turn the system off, which it's the fall in upstate New York right now, so we've had sub-freezing temperatures, and then it's gonna be 70 degrees next weekend, very confusing. What I love so much about this and its energy efficiency is if you turn it off, the water in the floor will heat your structure for 24 to 36 hours after you've turned it off, which is incredible. It's the opposite of forced air. This is connected to the water heater. I'll show you guys in my utility closet. Look at this beautiful wood door that they made. Everything they made by hand in here. It's incredible. Here is the utility closet. And then if I come in here, here's the water heater that is making all of this possible, along with all of this lovely piping, tubing that these genius gentlemen did that I don't fully understand the extent of, but don't worry, they did brief me on everything that I need to just check on and keep an eye on in here and with my propane tank to be safe. I wish you guys could feel in this room right now, since the water heater's in here. It feels like a spa. It feels like a warm hug when you open up this room. So then if I bring you guys over here to this window, there's one of my lovely birdhouses. If I get a good angle from the camera, right there is my propane tank that they buried. Yes, you can bury propane tanks. Yes, they know what they're doing. They are an excavation company. Yes, the propane tank was inspected. So before people get worried that this is an unsafe scenario, Everything is fine with the propane tank. It has been buried specifically in the drainage field. They have everything all set up around it. They were a first and foremost excavation company, so this is exactly what they do for a living. Stays warm. It's such an even, leveled warm. There's no part of the structure that's warmer than other parts of it. And they actually only put the in-floor radiant heat in the main section of the barn. They did not put it in the tack room on purpose, because the tack room is either a spot for storage or animals. But what is cool is, since this floor gets so evenly and powerfully warm, it actually extends the warmth into the floor of the tack room, even though there is no water heating coils under that part of the tack room. I find that very cool. If I take you guys to the outside of the property, here is the other side of the radiant heat, and right there is where the steam comes out of the structure when it's powering up, or if it's super cold, you can see the steam blowing out of it. I'll include a clip I filmed the other day here. It's so cool pulling up to it. It really makes me feel like I am pulling up to a bathhouse. And then straight ahead was the main section that I am in. This is the tack room. There's actually a drain in the middle of the floor. There is no radiant heat in the floor in here, but the heat from out there is enough to power this room. There's my little chickies. I'm currently having a coop built for them by the Amish, so I just leave their door open so they can get out and flap their wings and live their happy little chickie lives. Hi guys. Yep, and then if I come back this way, I am back in the radiant heat. These guys also do geothermal and all different types of creative heating arrangements they offer now, and I think if I ever had another structure built with them, I would consider exploring geothermal or other types of alternative heating methods. This was the most high-tech thing I have ever watched installed. I filmed every second of it because it was fascinating, and these guys are up to date on alternative heating, electric, methods that circumvent electricity, which are not necessarily a bad thing. I appreciate them having a perspective on options that would not be offered to you from a non-Amish company. I will definitely keep you guys posted on the cost of this, but for now, yeah, if I estimate that my propane tank is gonna last me 1 year, that would come to around $108 a month. Obviously, I won't need the heat on in the summer. I haven't needed it on until now. So I will be seeing basically if the propane tank can cover now through April, as well as I do have a shower in here. I will be updating that for you. I have a feeling it's gonna last even longer than that, which means that $108 per month would be even less. And that's to power, this huge structure with tons of windows, and it is already freezing cold. I'm just mesmerized every single day by their technology prowess, and I come on here to share it with you guys. If you're having a barndominium built, a barn center, a barn of any kind, I would highly suggest looking into in-floor radiant heat. Nobody paid me to post this. I just think it's very cool, very interesting, and probably interesting to you guys if you are thinking about getting started farming. Everyone should be getting started farming. We have a land revolution upon us. $24 trillion of farmland is about to be for sale in this country, and we will have a much better future if all of us start doing something like this on it. So I hope this makes it easier for you guys. Stick around, more content coming your way.